This video will feature a gameplay critique, with commentary mixed in at key moments. This match will feature Uberflagen, who will be playing as a survivor. I'll be analyzing their gameplay and awarding keys for exceptional moments. Now, I know totems give you a lot of blood points for cleansing them, but this is time that would be better spent on a generator. This is a pretty low priority generator. It might have been a better idea for you to have looked for a more important one. So a chase is about to happen here, but you probably could have avoided it altogether if you played the situation differently. Starting at this moment, you had about 5 seconds before the killer turned this corner and gained line of sight on you, and there were quite a few plays you could have made in that time. The most obvious one being hiding inside the locker right next to you. While there's always a risk to using lockers, it seemed like a pretty safe move since the killer didn't know you were here. The second thing you could have done was held position and stayed out of sight using the nearby wall. Simply peeking around corners and repositioning yourself would probably have been enough to avoid being spotted. And the third thing you could have done was simply respect the killer's presence and run to a different area. Judging by how you tapped this generator, it seemed like you wanted to continue working on it even though the killer was nearby. But given how little progress it had and how low priority it was not worth the risk. You had a chance to fake a window vault here. While you never know for sure what the killer is going to do, the majority of the time, they'll circle around the shack to meet you on the opposite end of the window. Now that was a juicy window bait. Let's watch that again. Steve makes it look like he's running for the window, then does a quick 180 turn to put himself just outside the killer's melee range. I think you earned yourself a key for that one. Good job not wasting the pallet on that hit. So here you made a mistake that allowed the killer to cut you off. I'll show you when it happened. It was right here. You turned your camera away so you couldn't see if the killer was still following you. This also prevented you from spotting him through the window. However, you still managed to avoid getting down thanks to a well-timed dead hard. Good use of corner peeking there. Without it, you might have run into the killer. That was an unsafe pallet. At least you realized that and ran. It's a good thing your teammate had borrowed time. You might have been in a bad spot otherwise. That is one lucky totem find, my friend. That should make things a bit easier. But yeah, you've been out of the game for a while now. In chases, on the hook, and now healing. It's about time you got some generators done. This probably was not the right decision on your part. Going for a save when you're on the opposite end of the map takes a lot of time, and it's likely your teammate will get there before you do. It would have been a better idea to let them handle it. Now, I know you have the babysitter perk, but the killer is right there. If you wanted to focus your teammate off the hook, he could do so very easily at that distance. Now that was a beautiful 180, and no window that time for bait either. Let's watch that again. The coolest thing about this 180 is that you began turning even before the killer began his lunge. You predicted the exact moment when he would slash at you. I think you deserve a key for that one. Remember, when hiding from the Oni, he can see the auras of the blood orbs you leave behind. I'm honestly surprised he lost you here. It would have been more efficient to just work on the generator here. You have adrenaline, and there are only 2 generators left, so searching the chest isn't really necessary, unless you're in it for the fat loots. As an ex-WoW addict, that I can understand. Now this was a mistake on your part. You ran right into the killer's line of sight even though you knew which direction he was coming from. He had no idea you were working on that generator. You could definitely have prevented this situation by just taking a left here and hiding. You can't be too sure if he was going to pick her up or come after you, so it was a good move keeping your distance. I think you spent a little too much time waiting on the killer to make a move here. It's been like 40 seconds since your teammate got downed, and you've just been waiting for a chance to unhook them. Working on a generator in another area would have been a better play here. Infectious Fright has been doing a pretty good job keeping the pressure on you. Good call there. The minute he stopped focusing you, you ran back to pressure the generator. You can tell by the obsession icon that he's committing to the chase. You should be clear to finish this generator. Playing it safe, I see. He's probably going to guard this area since there's both a gate and a hook survivor nearby. Maybe opening the gate could provide a distraction for a teammate to go for a save. Jeez, an infectious fright has been giving you a hard time this match. It was a smart move to run when you dropped that survivor. Nice, your teammate saved herself. That is some crazy amount of luck. Good move vaulting the window. If you'd ran the other way, he probably would have downed you. You handled that chase pretty well. I want to point out the two moments that could have ended in disaster for you had you not reacted appropriately. The first was your decision to turn into the maze. The sharp corners made it harder for the killer to navigate during his demon dash, and his slower turning speed stopped him from facing the window in time to down you. The second was your quick reaction when he tried to cut you off at the pallet. If you were any slower, he would have caught you at the window. Looks like that chase enabled your team to pick up your downed ally. You should be good to go now. So a chase is about to happen here, but it 100% did not need to. The only reason the killer found you was because you started running. Walking and using the environment to hide would have been a better play. It was at this moment that you sealed your fate. Not only did you corner yourself, but you vaulted an unsafe window. If you had only ran towards the same maze you were at before, you might have been able to escape. Okay, so here, you chose to recover instead of crawl away when the killer abandoned you. This was a mistake. If the killer runs off instead of picking you up, you can punish him for it by crawling away and making it more difficult to find you when he comes back. Now, I'm not saying to always crawl away when you're down, but given the amount of time the killer left you there, you could have made it pretty far by crawling. Uh-oh, he's focusing you right off the hook, and he's waiting for borrowed time to expire. It's a good thing you had some bodyguards though. Looks like your teammates know what they're doing. So it looks like you realized the killer was cutting you off here, and that's good. But you missed out on some serious outplay potential. When a killer tries to cut you off, oftentimes they'll have to break line of sight with you in order to do so. This makes it easy for you to lose them with a scratch mark juke, or just walking in a different direction. And the fact that you're running Iron Will would have made it even easier to pull off. So there are two things I want to point out here. The first is that you forgot you had Dead Hard. You would have been able to make it to the shack if you had used it. The second thing is this ledge right here. You saw it as you were heading for the stairs, but ran towards it anyways. This gave the killer a shortcut to reach you. your teammate messed up, and it looks like that's going to be what saves you. Oh man, he popped Blood Fury. Don't tell me he's gonna try and run you down. Oh, he actually did. But luck was on your side this game, and you got the hatch. And that is a wrap for this match. I think Uberflagging displayed a high level of understanding of Dead by Daylight's game mechanics. They knew when to repair generators, how to deal with being chased, and how to react in various situations. Uberflagging also had two key moments. The first was when they used a window bait to evade a hit, and the second was when they anticipated the killer's swing and performed a 180 that caused him to miss. However, there were some scenarios that could have been played better, and a mistake or two was made that cost them their life. But overall, it seemed like a solid performance. But anyways, thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe for future content.